Hello, friends. Robert Bevan here, author of the Caverns Creatures series of comedy fantasy novels and short stories. With me is Sam West, and today we are breaking down our picks for the top 5 and one worst level 6 cleric spells. All
We're getting
right.
up there.
Yeah,
This
we
is
are.
the quantity I expected for level 6 cleric spells, not the quantity I expected for level 4 cleric spells, but here we are.
Yeah, there's another short list to pick from. I found this a little bit easier. I had at least one struggler at the end.
I did too, and I think my opinion is somewhat changed on some of these spells as far as like how powerful they are. I still don't like some of them, but here we are. As we always mention in the other cleric spell videos, though, there aren't any domain spells past 5th level, so you don't have to worry about domain spells ever again for the cleric stuff. But there are still prepared casters, which means you can spells that have more niche effects tend to be better because you just take them when you need them, and they're just knowing they exist and are a cleric spell you can prepare whenever you finish a long rest is good. That's just something that you want to kind of keep in mind whenever you're looking at cleric spells as opposed to like sorcerer or warlock stuff, just because they have to. I can pick this and it's here forever, and I can switch it out every once in a while, but like I'm more locked into it. Whereas with clerics, every time you take a long rest, it's a brand new spell list for you. Whatever you want to take, it's up to you. Want to dive in?
Yeah. Well, I mean, we should also put out the disclaimers. Sam picks his spells in order. Top 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I just do random top 5 in any particular. Although this one I kind of went in order, but don't hold me to that.
All right, I won't.
Yeah. Well, why don't you go ahead and start this time?
All right, my number one. I like this one a lot. I think this is. It surprised me that I liked it as much as I did, having now seen it in play twice. It's Sunbeam. I think Sunbeam is a sweet little spell that I'm very happy to take on a lot of clerics, specifically in clerics at tables that are playing a lot of combat encounters. I think Sunbeam is pretty excellent.
Wait a second, Sunbeam.
Sunbeam, 6th level evocation spell.
I don't have that on my list. Oh shucks. Oh man, that would have made my list.
Make an edit. No one has to know. Yeah, so Sunbeam is pretty spicy in that it basically lets you say for the next minute, as long as I can concentrate on this, I have fireballs as my actions, but they're more like lightning. You have lightning bolts as your actions, right? You can say, when I cast this, I fire a lightning bolt that is a sunbeam, because it's a 5-foot wide, 60-foot line of 68 radiant damage, right? And it also blinds things, which is a bigger upside over lightning bolt than just it on itself. And it lets you just do that as an action for as many turns as you want to. That's pretty spicy. It just on top of that, you get like a little glowy light thingy in your hand for flavor reasons. Sure, you get a big 30-foot bright light, 30-foot dim light, but what's really important is you repeatedly fire off sunbeams. It really isn't sunbeam, it's sunbeams, and that makes it pretty sick. I'm pretty happy if I'm a backline cleric to finally get this, because now you're gonna really start feeling like a big evoker wizard, where you're like, okay, great, I'm Iron Man. This is great.
What? I'd be really happy as a cleric to get this, and I'd feel like a wizard because this is not on the cleric spell list, Sam.
It 100% is, I promise you that.
I'm looking it up right now. Sunbeam, classes, druid, sorcerer, wizard.
It's wrong. It is a cleric spell right here according to D&D Wiki.
Well, I'm looking at roll20.net.
Roll20 is just wrong.
Huh. All right.
Maybe it's light domain that gets it. Maybe that's where I'm getting it wrong. But it says on the cleric spell, it can't be light domain that gets it.
Oh yeah, that's right, because the domain spells.
Give me a half a second. I'll grab my player's handbook and we'll consult.
Oh, good.
All right. Player's handbook. Plus, now the whole of the internet gets to see. I got one of those one of the first printings of the PHB whenever they were utter like quality control crap. So all the pages.
I have that too, and mine is the same way.
Yeah, it's really awful. All right, let's see here. Spellcasting clerics. Let's see. We'll just consult the sacred text. When in doubt, just give it the good old search it in the book. All right, warlock spells, bard spells, cleric spells. You're according to the player's handbook. Sunbeam is not a 6th level cleric spell.
Yeah,
I'm
lied to D&D Beyond as well.
Yep, D&D Beyond is correct. Don't trust everything you see online, kids. Sometimes the internet lies to you, including D&D Wiki. So Bob, what do you got for your number 1 instead? While I find a new number 5.
Wow, this video is going to be super long.
It's
All
fine.
right, yeah. Let's see. What do I have? I have Blade Barrier.
That'd be my list. That's my number 2, or my now new number 1. So that's great.
You know, I find it weird that this is exclusively a cleric spell.
Yeah, me too.
This does not seem cleric-y.
It's something. Get out of here. Anyway, something is super cleric-y.
Yeah,
That's
right.
Yeah. All right. So why do you love Blade Barrier?
I don't know. I'm all flustered now. Let me look up Blade Barrier.
It's just a big old chunk. It's the meat grinder, as I like to call it.
Yes, it is the meat grinder. I like that it lasts 10 minutes. I don't know when you ever need it for 10 minutes.
Something's got a lot of hit points.
Well, it's a lot of hit points. Or, all right, if they're the only thing that makes sense is zombies. That just hordes of things coming at you without regard to their own safety.
Yeah.
Or preservation.
Just for 10 minutes on end. Then you do it again.
I don't know why you need this. I mean, otherwise, why you would need this for 10 minutes. But
you normally even need it for 1 minute.
That's cool though. I mean, I'd rather have more than less.
Fair.
But yeah, it's one of those spells that you can, throw people into or have fun with that.
Yeah, I think this is one of those ones that rewards figuring out how to get things coming in and out of it over and over again, because it's when a creature enters the wall's area for the first time on a turn or starts its turn there, which means if you can push it through it and then push it through it again and then push it through it again, each one of those instances is doing the damage. And that's pretty sweet. So like, as long as you can get it in and out on a turn using like gusts of wind or using, thorn whips or, just good old fashioned shove actions, you can do 60-12, 12-12, 18, or sorry, 60-10, 12-10, or 18-10 damage in a single round. And that's pretty brutal and pretty awesome. And I love that.
And I like that it gives you the option of having a ringed wall around you. If you just need to buy some time, or specifically 10 minutes worth of time, then you can do whatever you need to do for 10 minutes while creatures outside that wall decide whether or not they want to get shredded to come attack you.
The answer is normally they don't want to get shredded. Normally.
Well, I mean, it depends on what you're biding your time for.
That's true. Sometimes they have no choice but to run through it, or their evil mastermind says elementals, damage be damned, go through the wall, go get the enemies. Do what you must,
All right.
It's pretty neat. I'm a big fan of it.
Well, do you have a new number 1, or do you have a new number 2?
My list just shoved up, and I have a new number 5 because
new number 5.
Yeah, because there weren't more that I didn't have. It was just Sunbeam was on there and shouldn't have been.
Yeah, right.
This is the first time D&D Wiki has betrayed me, and I'm disappointed in them. My number 3, I think, might surprise you. It surprised me that I put it on here at all.
Well, let me guess then.
Okay.
Is it oh shucks, let me go look at my list. Cleric Spells. Okay. Is it?
The audience is waiting. The suspense is palpable.
Is it Heal?
It's not. It's Hero's Feast.
All right. Well, if it was Heal, that would have surprised me. Hero's Feast, not so much.
Yeah, I think Hero's Feast is perfectly fine, but it's not really a spell, which is normally the kind of thing that I'm normally bummed about. But it's something you'd like. You spend $2,000 on a campaign, you get a bunch of extra HP for the 1 or 2 fights. You're pretty happy with it. It has the potential to be abused by very rich parties, where you just every long rest. This is now as a passive boon that everyone always gets. That's probably not most tables. At least I hope it's not most tables. I mean, a lot of tables at the upper tier do tend to get like Scrooge McDuck vaults level of like 100,000 gold pieces, and you go, okay, great. We'll just use this 50 times, then we're not gonna have 50 long rests before the campaign's over. So that's perfect. But yeah, bunch of HP maximum. What's not to love? It's a 6th level slot that doesn't really cost you a 6th level slot because you're doing this before you long rest. So like, it's just pretty exceptional. I'm overall, if I have an opportunity to cast Hero's Feast, I'll cast it probably right before we go fight Strahd or whatever the big villain of the campaign is, and then you're gonna be pretty happy with it.
Yes, Hero's Feast made my list as well. It's
great success.
Yeah, same thing. In fact, I was thinking more of the abuse case scenario where, guess what? We've all just got this forever now.
We all have about as 9 HP for the rest of the time. That's fine.
Hero's Feast is called breakfast.
Yeah, and like it beyond like giving the temp HP, it also heals all of like blinds, deafens, and stuff, right? Like, oh, sorry, it cures all diseases and poisons. You become immune to being poisoned and frightened, which is really big. And you make all wisdom saving throws from now on with advantage. Why not? If you got the cash to burn, light it up, baby. This is free. This is the best breakfast you'll ever have, and you can have it for the rest of the time if you have that much money. And then as you're winning the adventures because you have the heroes feast, you're making more money from those adventures to pour into more heroes feasts, and it funnels money directly to the top, with top being you, the adventuring party.
Yeah, how could this not be on your list? Actually, it was kind of lower on my list, but yeah,
It's my number 3. I think still that most tables aren't going to be doing, like, I don't think most tables are abusing this. I think most tables are probably doing the Twist campaign, and that's, I think, a pretty healthy spot for this kind of thing to be.
All right. Well, I wonder if my next pick will surprise you.
Hit me with it.
I chose Forbiddance.
On my radar, didn't make my worst, didn't make my top 5.
Well, can you guess why it made mine?
Is it permanent?
It can be for a mere 30 casts.
Only 30 casts.
That's a month.
And does it consume the powdered ruby?
I don't know. I have to look it up again.
This is an important question because it also then costs you 30,000 gold.
Let's take
it doesn't say it consumes it, so you can keep reusing the same powdered ruby.
Sure.
Conceivably, sure.
Yeah, it doesn't say it's consumed. Yeah. Okay. All right. So potential permanence and 40,000 square feet. That's amazing.
I feel like you see that number and you go, wow, that's gigantic. It's a pretty large area, but it's not like how many city blocks are in 40,000 square feet in city blocks?
All right, how many city blocks? Just the unit you're measuring by is enough for me.
That, you know what, that's fair.
But yeah, but combine that with the potential permanence, and you've got your realm covered.
That's true.
Eventually. But and all right, I guess we should talk about what it actually does. What, you had something to say?
I do.
What?
According to this calculator, 40,000 square feet is a third of a city block.
Okay, still.
That's still a decent space. It's just not like, gargantuan. It's like a building.
Sure, that's fine with me. As for the effects, I was a little bit reading through it. I was a little bit bummed out. It says, all right, it prevents this creature type of your choice from teleporting or entering this space or whatever, up to 30 feet in the air. I was thinking, well, they can just teleport over it, and a lot of them will have wings anyway. They can just come down after that. But it also damages them once they're in there.
This is true.
I mean, that's a huge space that's relatively safe, or at least, if they want to come tangle with you, it's going to hurt.
That's true. I still always struggle with it. You have to put it somewhere, and the things have to come to you for this to have any text. And that is
this is strictly protective. This is you're protecting your third of a city block.
Yeah, it's a third of your square city block, which is different. And I'm sure the commoners, hopefully that, if there's got to be someone that can tell me the exact in-building estimate size, give me something I can visualize. I'm having a difficult time seeing exactly how much space this is in my tiny little wee brain at the moment. But still, like, you protect a space, a decently large space. How often in the campaign are you going to be tracking villains back to your lair? Not that often. How often are you going to be like baiting celestials to come kill you in your church? I don't see that happening all that often. Like, I think the use cases of it are very fringe at best. That being said, it is prepared, so is the kind of thing, right, where you can be like, we are doing this once a campaign encounter where we're defending this space. Forbiddance goes up. And that seems fine there. That seems pretty usable then.
Yeah, I looked up a football field is 57,600 square feet. So
okay,
a little bit smaller than that.
A little bit smaller than a football field. Okay, that's great. That's a great metric that I can visualize in my brain. It's a decently large chunk of space, but it's like a battle map's worth, right?
Sam, this is you and me. I will always value this sort of thing, even though I will never, ever, ever, ever use it.
even though it's not getting cast, it's like, yeah, this is cool. I definitely get. I again, as a person that loves Hallow, I agree. Forbiddance is very cool.
I need to protect all my wall of stone structures.
So you just go around, you pay 30 clerics, spend 30 days spamming forbiddance around your whole domain so nothing gets in. That's a cool campaign arc, actually. If you want to run a campaign around the idea of just like, this is a bastion against otherworldly and extraplanar magic, and it's just a whole bunch of forbiddance before everyone that casts the forbiddance gets exiled, and you have this magic free zone. You can run some cool ideas there. Is it great in the actual table in play? Probably not, but it's very nifty.
All right, well, that's enough of that. What else made your list?
Okay, I have Create Undead as my number 4. And
that just barely didn't make mine.
The reason Create Undead made mine isn't because of when you cast it up 6th level. It's because when you upcast it, it gets really, really game-breaking munchkin-y busted. It's still also just like a summon spell, and summon spells are normally pretty good. Even though ghouls aren't that amazing, getting a bunch of free ghouls is still pretty solid. Clerics don't. If Summon Celestial didn't exist, this probably be higher on my list, honestly, because again, it's one of the few ways clerics get to actually do the summoning minigame. But because Summon Celestial exists, I think this is a comfortable number 4 for me. It's fine. It's, if you need some ghouls, you got some ghouls. If you want a ghast, you got a ghast. Sure. If you upcast it and get some whites running around that are killing a bunch of towns and are creating your own little zombie army, now we're in business. Especially
what level is that?
You can get a white at 8th level, I believe.
Okay.
I think you get more than one white at 9th level.
Wait, all right, so 8th level spell.
Yes. Which is like 17th
that's
level.
Pretty high up there.
That's 15th level, yeah. I mean, okay, we're talking about 6th level spells. We're at 11th level already.
No, that's fine.
So we're well over halfway through the game. Yeah. I normally don't like have spells based off their uppercast merits. I did here because I wasn't that impressed with the rest of the cleric spell list. And so this gets my number 3 slot. Wow, it really does, because Heroes Feast is my number 2 slot because everything gets bumped up because Sunbeam is not a cleric spell. Bummer. Do you have anything else you want to talk about Create Undead, or is it pretty tried and true metric we've mentioned a lot?
Not really. We talked quite a bit about it on the Create Undead video, so go watch that. All right, so I guess let's see, what else do I have? I've got Word of Recall. Did that make your list?
I can't believe Word of Recall made your list. It did not make mine.
Why? What's wrong with it?
It's okay. All it does is get everyone out right now to a different spot.
Yeah.
We had a long video about this. I couldn't think I was very defensive of it in that video. It seems so narrow.
I don't know. I mean, there have been, I don't think I've ever used this, but there have been plenty of times where I wish I had.
Everything has to be within 5 feet of you
to
be able to Word of Recall.
Hey guys, shit just hit the fan.
Get over here.
Gather together. Yeah.
Jimmy's on the ground dead over there.
Well, I guess we're going to meet over there.
Sure. Or just, I guess, Jimmy's not coming with us.
Or teleport him over here. Or telekinesis his body.
Listen, the creatures have to be willing, and unconscious creatures can't be willing, so that's like an important designation. Can't
bring... I mean, you can hold him.
He's not willing, though. Is he equipped at that point? Yes. I don't think so. Listen, I think Word of Recall is incredibly niche and narrow. You have to designate a sanctuary beforehand. You go back to that sanctuary. It's a one-way teleport effect. It's a 6th level spell worth a one-way anti-distance teleport effect. Maybe. I don't love it. I don't think I would want to really actively prepare this. It is one of few ways clerics kind of have to do this thing, though, so that's the end of the world. I just think there's going to be a lot of fights where if Word of Recall is your planned escape route, someone is getting left behind and dying. And I think that's, not necessarily what you want your escape plan to be.
I mean, all right. There is the, like, oh crap, things are inevitably going bad now. Yeah. We gotta bail. But I'm sure there's also cases where, you go in there, you find the treasure, but there's still dangers lurking behind you. You don't necessarily want to work your way back through the caverns or whatever. So, all right, we got what we came for. Word of Recall.
Sure, it helps that it's a prepared spell, right? So like if you can get to a safe spot, you long rest, put it on your sheet, get out of there. That's pretty harmless. It makes it feel more like a class feature than a spell. And it's probably to its boon. That use case alone's like, yeah, sure, okay, that's fine. It's a convenience for if you're doing like a large scale adventure and you don't want to have to go exposition. We walk back to camp. You just go, we're back at camp. Sure. I
Well, I
don't.
mean, I feel you could just say exposition. We're back at camp, and fine.
That's where I find this normally overlaps, and that's not a huge use case selling point to me. Is that what is normally skipped over? Like so much of adventuring is the going through of the adventure and beating it on the way in. Most adventures don't tend to be also beating it on the way out. That's where I'm like, the few use cases that this does exist are in those dungeons, and then you've removed the interesting, exciting like gameplay of that to just Word of Recall back and turn that into exposition. That's kind of lame. But
All right,
sure, fair.
I'm just trying to come up with other uses. It's mainly for oh crap, we're all gonna die.
Yeah.
Word of recall.
Everyone get it within 5 feet of the cleric and
Yeah.
hope for the best, which notably is fireball formation. So good luck with that. I don't know. I'm not very
This
high
will
on it, but
be
I see it being
initiative dependent.
definitely.
All right, well,
I have 2 more to go now, don't I?
yeah, all right. So 2 more that are objectively better than Word of Recall. What do you got?
Oh, you might have me on that. Word of Recall might all of a sudden be my number 5. My next one, I don't like that it's on my list, but I think it's responsible to put it here. I still don't like that it exists. It does do a powerful thing, and it's true seeing. I think true seeing.
Ooh, I am surprised.
Yeah, I really hate this spell. We talked a lot about it, and you're like, I'm kind of indifferent to it, but I think it's fine. And I'm like, this is actually the devil itself come to the Dungeons and Dragons tables and making me hate everyone. True seeing is a binary check that says anything that isn't real, we now see as not real. And that can lead to some frustrations to me personally as a DM that leads to some frustrations where interesting ways to engage the party start to go away because just for an hour duration, no concentration, you have this ability to have a 120-foot true sight of just, I see all illusion, I see all invisibility, I see all of any kind of magic. You notice secret hidden doors, you can see onto the ethereal plane, you just see whatever you need to see. I don't love that. That being said, it does have a really powerful effect in the upper tiers as far as we need to not get goozled by the wizard anymore. We need the lich to stop screwing with our brains. We need to understand what is real and what is not. We need to know who's the doppelganger. We need to know X, Y, or Z. We've already done the puzzles in the lower tier. We've had that fun. We're moving past that. True Seeing comes down and says we now have a catch-all solution to most of these problems. And that's pretty good, especially being as something that you can prepare when you need it. You'd say, okay, we're going to fight fairies. I'm bringing True Seeing so we don't get goozled. And that seems reasonable in that use case.
Yeah, I won't argue with you there. Yeah, just maybe it should have made my list, but I don't know. I don't feel bad for leaving this one off.
I hate True Seeing, and I'm annoyed that it's on my list, but it's definitely, I think it's better than Word of Recall, like power-wise. I would much rather play at a table using Word of Recall than True Seeing, though. So, your mileage may vary. And then, are you all finished with your 5? Do I have to pick another one?
No, I've got
Oh, great.
one
What do you
more.
got?
And this was my struggler. This is where I ran out of ones that I thought, yeah, these deserve to be on a list. I've got heal.
That's just 70 HP.
Yep. Well, and what some
Blindness,
different
deafness,
effect.
diseases
Yeah,
all
right.
end.
Yeah. So like I was making the list. I got Heroes Feast on there. They're like heal. This is like really, really crappy Heroes Feast.
It's
Like
70 hit points right now.
Yeah.
That's not like, so that's not nothing. I don't love it, but it is a lot of attack. Like, if you're fighting things that are doing 2d10, 3d10 damage, that's 3 or 4 hits. It's pretty good. Like, I don't hate a spell that mitigates 3 to 4 hits. It being a 6th level spell that doesn't move you towards ending the fight, though, I don't love. Is this going to be my number 5? Probably not. Let me check its competition real quick.
Let's see. Now,
Man,
what
why
if?
can't Sunbeam be a cleric spell?
Yeah, really.
Were you gonna say?
I was gonna say if your fighter is blind, deaf, and diseased, and sitting on 5 hit points, then this would be an awesome spell.
Agreed. I mean, and like, let's be honest, like I just said, this is enough healing where it will mitigate it'll make a lot of enemy actions be required to put something at 0. If you could even do this on, like, if you know your barbarian's got 130 HP or whatever, and they're at 40, you sometimes will say, great, heal, even out of combat. Now it's not costing me actions, but we're about to go into a fight. You have 70 more HP. You're going to have this whole fight. You double it up with resistances. You're looking at 140 HP worth of hit points. That is there's a lot of attacks. It's a lot of area effect damage. There's a lot of mitigation that you're doing. That isn't unreasonable. I still probably don't ever put this on my sheet. I probably would rather have the upcasting things like Summon Celestial here specifically, because you get 2 attacks with your Avenger now, and that seems better than almost all of these. That being said, I've talked myself into it. I think heal is good enough, and the rest, more importantly, the rest of these are bad enough that heal can be my number 5. It was that or harm, and 14d6 damage is laughable. So let's go with heal.
Yeah, I briefly looked at harm, but yeah.
I can't wait to talk about
like
it worse.
there's a cleric spell called harm now.
Yeah. Very reminiscent of the old days.
Yeah.
You got heal and harm. I just wish harm did 70 flat damage. I think that'd be way better.
Yeah.
You just pick something and take 70. That'd be sweet. It doesn't though.
All right, so does that make your full list then?
Yep.
All right, that's mine. You want to give us the rundown again?
Sure. Mine's Blade Barrier, Hero's Feast, Create Undead, True Seeing, and Heal. I don't love my bottom 3, but that's Cleric Spells for you.
All right, we weren't super far off this time. I have Blade Barrier, Forbiddance, Word of Recall, Hero's Feast, and Heal.
And this is, listen, a learning experience for me. It can be a learning experience for our viewers too. Don't trust D&D Wiki at their word. Track the PHB, check other books. Maybe Sunbeam isn't really a cleric spell, even though it definitely should be.
All right, now the fun part. What did you pick for your worst?
I always go first with these. You go first.
All right.
There's 2. There's 2 that are very clearly like awful.
All right. I hope mine was one of them. I think it is. I think it must be. God. But yeah, I don't have as much vitriol toward this one as I do for a lot of the other ones, but Find the Path.
Find the Path is also my worst.
Oh,
it is
okay.
Yeah, this is terrible.
It's a map.
It's worse than a map because it doesn't even, like, a map will show you what danger you're going into. This just goes that way's fastest. This isn't a spell. This isn't nothing. Your DM already wants you going in the right direction. No DM is like, I would think it's going to be a very fun play experience for you all to wander around aimlessly for 4 hours. No one's got time for that. Teenagers playing in high school lunchrooms don't have time for that, right? Like, there isn't a game that exists where Find the Path is going to be good because you already will generally know where you're supposed to be going. Find the Path shouldn't cost a 6th level spell slot for an effect that is a glorified. It's a glorified survival check.
What level would you put this at?
First, and I wouldn't cast it.
Oh man,
this spell is horrendous. It's so bad. It's not even a ritual. You have to spend a 6th level spell slot on this.
Yeah, I don't know what they were thinking.
It takes your concentration, so you can't concentrate on other things while this is up for its day duration. Basically, I think what the intention was, it feels like to me, is that this is supposed to be like how to get out of hex crawling in the upper tiers. You just go, okay, Find the Path replaces hex crawling. If you're at the table that wants to be doing that, this spell is unfun, and at every other table, no one's using it anyway. Like, if you want to go exploring, if you have a ranger that's set on survival, if your whole objective is to build a character that's built around detecting tracks, finding the clear routes, navigating through jungle brush, keeping a sense of that survival gritty realism that D&D's not great at, but it can do well enough that you can play that way in it, Find the Path just goes, screw all of that. You know the right direction. Now just keep living. And at every other table, no one wants to jump through that rigmarole. No one wants to do I detect which way is north. We use the compass. As you just say, I make a survival check. We know what direction we're going. Great, you move forward. Because again, and I cannot emphasize this enough, There are not many tables that really enjoy meandering around aimlessly for 4 hours.
Yeah, I mean, back when I was first playing, that's what we used to do. Just wander through the woods and random encounter.
You got really excited about the random encounters because
Yeah.
meandering through the woods couldn't possibly be that interesting. I do have a runner-up if we want to talk about a runner-up.
Yeah, I was curious what else you thought was almost this bad.
Planar Ally.
Oh.
Planar Ally is a glorified. All you do is you say, "Dear sweet divine forces above, send me a mercenary that we may pay, so that we may go on an adventure with said mercenary." It doesn't give you a summoned companion. It just says, "I would like to rent a Solar, please." And as opposed to going to the extra planes to get said Solar, which we're in the tier that's viable now, you just ask politely for a 6th level spell slot. And that's not worth 6th level spell slot. This is an event that you should be going on. This is an adventure to go find aid. Conjuring it in this way and then still having to pay it is just stupid.
I don't know. I mean, you do get something. You get it. Well, presumably you get a little helper, a mercenary.
I'm going to read this line of text. When the creature appears, it is under no compulsion to behave in any particular way.
Yeah, I get that. As intended, though. I mean, look, I don't like it either. But I'd really not like my DM if I had summoned this guy. Thanks. See ya.
Thanks for the ticket over here, bud. Yeah. I'm heading out. You want a beer? I'm swing by the local pub on my way out. We'll catch up. Then I'll head out. Yeah, no. Listen, I think the spell is ripe for frustrations. I think it's ripe for just like the kind of thing, like if my DM doesn't give me exactly what I want here, I'm going to be really annoyed. The spell tells them not to.
Yeah, I don't like it either. But it's like
it's better than Find the Path.
Yeah. But I was thinking the same thing with a planar binding. It's just a headache. That's why I didn't make my top 5. Thought it might have made yours, but no.
Planar binding did make my top 5 because it's ripe for abuse, not because it's a fun experience.
All right. Well, I guess that's that.
6th level cleric spells. I thought there was a better list than the 4th level, but I think I may without Sunbeam, this just feels so much weaker.
Yeah, man. I can't imagine what you're thinking right now, because you went into this list with Sunbeam at number 1.
Yeah, and then that got yoinked away from me. I was like, finally, clerics can feel like a different class.
Oh well.
I will say this experience has been very enlightening to me as far as like what upper level clerics look like, and I think I might be a little bit nicer to them. I used to think clerics were right up there as far as power goes with wizards. I think they might be quite a bit worse in the upper tiers. They're still really good in the low tiers because they get their subclass at first level, and multiclassing them is really busted. But like, God, their upper level stuff, we are not in the arcane caster's wheelhouse of goodness. We are far from that.
Well, we're not done yet either.
I'm sure we got 3 more levels to go.
Yep. All right. Seems like, well, how do we usually end these? I feel like
ask the comments.
Oh yeah. Viewers at home, let us know what you think. What are your personal list or your picks for level 6 cleric spells? What did you think of our list? And yeah, there you go.
If Find the Path makes your top 5, I have to know why. I have to. You need to tell. You're legally obligated to tell me if Find the Path is on your top 5 list and why.
And if Sunbeam makes your list, I want to know that too.
We're gonna just pick any 6th level spell. It doesn't have to be from any class list. Just say it's the best cleric one, and no one will notice.
All right, that was level 6 cleric spells. Stay tuned next week for level 7, and go look at all the other ones. And we did wizards too. We'll do more in the future. All right. Thank you, Sam, and thank you, everyone, for joining us. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye. Thank you for watching. If you found this helpful, informative, or entertaining, I'd really appreciate it if you hit the like button below. You needn't smash it. A gentle tap will suffice. If you want to see more videos like this, subscribe to the channel. And make sure you check out the links in the description, where you'll find my Caverns Creatures series of comedy fantasy novels, Sam's full review of the spell, and other fun things.